Hey there, Kenny from Yo Video Games here with your review of Street Fighter 6. And at the time of this review, I've had about 2 weeks with the game. Now, don't worry. I know you're thinking, hey Kenny, you're going to be the world champion with 2 weeks under your belt. But by me reviewing this game, it excludes me from competing in Capcom Pro Tour. Now let's be real. If I had this game for 2 years, I still wouldn't stand a chance. So thank you to Capcom for providing me with a copy to review. And if I'm honest, the majority of the time of me with this game was spent in World Tour. And let me tell you that World Tour is a huge experience that took me over 20 hours to complete. World Tour provides a vast single-player experience that honestly felt like Yakuza and Mortal Kombat Conquest mode combined. So, gone is the Street Fighter V story mode, and it's replaced with a fighting game RPG. In Street Fighter V, the story took itself too serious and tried to recreate a Mortal Kombat story, and at the end, it comes out as hokey and ended up feeling a lot like the Street Fighter TNT cartoon. This time around, World Tour embraces the hokey with silly missions like traveling the globe to find materials to make a bootleg designer bag to fool Mad Gear, and he probably could have just bought a bootleg bag. I feel like the team embraced the silliness this time around. Instead of making Street Fighter 6 about this world-ending event, it goes back to its roots about being a fighting game tournament with some funny shenanigans going on around in the background. But that's how far I'll go to avoid spoilers. I'll have to say this, I played World Tour on a PC and I did have some frame rate issues and slowing down. And I'm running this on a 3080 with an i9 with 32 gigs of RAM. So I'm hoping some of these issues are worked out on a day one patch. I haven't played the full game on PS5, but when I played the beta on PS5, World Tour was running great. So I would recommend playing it and just keeping it at 30 frames until maybe there's a patch. Another one of my issues with World Tour is some of the missions can be a bit fetch questy, and some of the later battles can get annoying, especially when you're trying to beat up a Roomba. But hey, don't get me wrong. Some of my favorite battles in the game were actually me fighting against refrigerators. Refrigerator? Ouch. And I actually hope they add a mode where I can play as a refrigerator because that was some of my favorite battles. And it was just like, oh my God, I want to fight some more. One great feature about World Tour is it teaches you advanced gameplay techniques while you're playing the game. Teaches you that some characters like to block low or some characters are always going to block. And it teaches you to punish those correctly and even gives you some interesting side missions that will teach you advanced game mechanics. One thing I will say is, at the end of my quest, I was still pretty underleveled. So I'm thinking the game wanted me to beat up more random strangers. One thing I will say about the World Tour is, I wish the main cast played a bigger story in the tournament. But the real star of World Tour mode is your character and the bond they make with their masters. Let's just say this. I think I'm really starting to win over Jury. I mean, I have her texts. She's texting me back. I think I could save her. But overall, World Tour is a more fun single-player experience than Street Fighter V story. Can we just say out the box that Street Fighter 6 provides a tremendous experience with arcade ladders, a mode called Extreme Battle, which is just a fun party mode with wacky rules that could be a fun break to traditional gameplay with your friends. And let's talk about practice mode. This time around, it is amazing and very in-depth. You can start with tutorials that will cover beginner topics, pretty much like getting started, all the way to advanced techniques like situational confirms, teaching you how to understand frame data, and teaching you about neutral. For fighting game tutorials, this is easily one of the best and most extensive I've seen in fighting games. It even goes into depth of characters you want to main, teaching you about your character's strengths and weaknesses. I'd have to say, practice mode really reminded me of how to draw comics the Marvel way. And in my advice, like that book, start from the beginning. Let all of that sink in. It's actually helpful whether you're brand new to fighting games or a novice. But if you're one of those that, I just want to learn combos, it actually has great combo trials that can help you learn some bread and butter combos all the way to some insanely difficult combos. And we have to talk about my favorite feature in Street Fighter 6 is Battle Hub. But before I talk about Battle Hub, first let me say this. Thank goodness that Battle Hub is not the only way to play online. I can go straight to online mode, look for ranked or casual matches. Yes, I'm looking at you, Guilty Gear. But anyways, back to Battle Hub. It's basically an online arcade where you can run around with your avatar, meet with your friends, play against them in Street Fighter, play against them in crazy modes, or even go all the way to the back and play retro Capcom games. First off, I want to say how awesome it is that I could just take a break and play Final Fight with some friends. Let's talk about Street Fighter 6 brand new gameplay. And in my opinion, it's amazing. Right out the box, you have access to full meter. So you can play hyper aggressive right out the rip, but risk burnout. Or you can play conservative to save your meter. One thing I love is you can just cash out your meter and do some crazy damage to finish out the round and secure the victory. But if you drop your combo and put yourself in burnout, watch out. Now, the thing with Street Fighter 6 new mechanics is Super Meter is now its own thing. So finally we will see more supers and big combos in the game. Because in previous Street Fighters, all the meter was tied to the same bar. So the majority of players use their meters to make moves safe, or to do EX moves to do more damage, or they save them for wake-ups. So you didn't really see that many supers. But overall thoughts? You can really tell the Street Fighter team wanted to bring back fun to Street Fighter. With its silly but fun world tour, putting back mini games in the arcade ladder, which I gotta say is one of my favorite features. It just takes it back to the old school days of Street Fighter 2. If I had to review this game in one word, fun. Street Fighter 6 with its amazing Battle Hub feels like a celebration of Street Fighter and classic arcade days. We really know they meant for us to have fun by giving us so much control with their avatar creator. As a Street Fighter game, this is a 10 out of 10. They've knocked it out of the park by adding so much content in this game for single players, for returning players, just for everyone. And we didn't even scratch the surface on modern controls, which is going to help tons of new players get into this game. And if they play modern controls, let them play. We need more people playing fighting games. I have to say, the team at Capcom knocked it out of the park. And for an overall fighting game, I give it a 9 out of 10. It is a must-have for any fighting game fan or a casual fighting game fan. You really get your money's worth. It's so packed with content. Well, anyways, guys, this has been Kenny from Yo Video Games with your review of Street Fighter 6. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.